chipper all the day, happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got.
Americans have always responded to the optimism, the wit and sophistication, and the passion and verve of the standards that make up the American Songbook. In this exhibit, curated by essayist and poet David Lehman, and illustrated with colorful posters from Broadway shows and photographs of composers, singers, and the casts of hit musicals and films, we learn about the lives and works of Irving Berlin, George and Ira Gershwin, Harold Arlen, Jerome Kern, and a host of other Jewish songwriters who wove the American Songbook deep into the fabric of American culture.
Hi, I'm Anthony Ehresmann, and welcome to Urbana Leader. Today we have a great show. We're going to feature two organizations in the community that are essentially helping out our elderly community. First we have Nancy Zirkle, who is a committee member for 3 years with the S.A.L.T, which is, let me see if I get this right, it's Seniors and Law Enforcement Together.
Exactly.
Okay. And we also have Elaine Blanton, and she is an executive board member and also a committee member with S.A.L.T. But she's also an executive board member with V.A.L.E, which is Volunteers
for Adult Life Enhancement.
There, Life Enhancement, which is basically a guardianship program.
Right.
And we have, and that is basically pretty new in Urbana.
We've been around. We started, we started in 2008 September, and so we're just new around the block. So.
Right, and this is her first time on the show, so I welcome.
Thank you.
And Nancy is a veteran, so she doesn't need any training. And we talked about what V.A.L.E did last time and how it was serving the senior community here, and I got to say we got a lot of response from that, and it was very well received, and it was great information. But we are doing something new with S.A.L.T. Now, you want to tell us what's going on?
Sure. First, I want to tell you basically what S.A.L.T does, just in case somebody missed before.
All right.
Seniors and Law Enforcement Together are a combination or a mixture of people within the community that are very concerned about the concerns of our senior citizens and also the protection of our senior citizens. We have senior citizens on the committee. We have police officers, sheriff department, and business leaders that come together every month and talk about what we can do to help our senior citizens to feel protected. So we have come up with what is called the Hotspot Card.
Right.
And the Hotspot Card is a tool that's been used in other communities and counties with great success. So we decided as the committee that this might be a good tool for us to put out into the county area to help our seniors feel a little bit better about what might be happening in their areas. So the purpose of this tool is to be able to report a crime, or if there's any trouble in your area, that you are seeing something happening and you're afraid.
Activities.
You're afraid.
Right.
And a lot of our seniors will not report things because they're afraid to give their name. They're afraid that there will be, retribution, that somebody will come back and they'll pay for it.
And they are very vulnerable.
Yes, they are. They are. So the purpose of this is to be able to, I don't know if it'll help when I open this up here. Inside, you can put all the details down about what might be going on in your area. And you don't have to sign your name to it. This is the most important part about this, is report what's going on, something that you're really worried about or concerned about. Don't put your name on it. It's all ready to go. You just seal it up. It's already postage paid. It'll go straight to the Sheriff's Department, and Sheriff Emmons will investigate everyone that comes through there.
And if it's not out in the county, it will go to the police department and, Urbana.
Yeah, it's addressed to the Sheriff's Department, so it's going to go,
But
straight to there. But
it'll
he
be
could contact
redirected
the
And they'll
police
sort
department.
through it and
sort through it so
Exactly.
that it reaches the right
Right.
the municipality or
Right.
district.
Now, we're trying to get these out all through the county. They are, the SALT committee members have taken these and we've distributed them. They are at the police department, the sheriff's department, they're at libraries, they are at doctor's offices, pharmacies, all the banks. We're trying to hit all the banks. Right.
Is that your bank?
People's
You
has
work-
them in both
Good.
locations at People's
Good.
Savings Bank. There are other places that we've tried to get them at. The senior center,
Yes.
Tri-County Community.
Senior housings.
Right, senior housings. We're trying to hit everywhere. So if you can't find one, the SALT committee meets every third Wednesday at the Champaign County
Now,
Library.
Are we getting this? Are we getting these out to like the grocery stores so that seniors, when they go shopping, they can pick one up on the way out?
We
At the
haven't
groceries.
attempted that yet.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the spot
Pharmacies,
right now.
all the pharmacies.
We know the seniors go to doctors. We know they go to the pharmacies. We know they go to the banks, library.
Right.
We're trying to hit those spots right at the moment because we have been limited on the amount of brochures that we have. We're trying to get more printed, which we will.
Okay.
But
And now,
they're out
will you
there.
need help with donations to get those things printed? Do you need help with
Well,
that?
we always use donations.
Always.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah,
And I
sure.
also want to thank People's Bank because you guys do great work in the community.
People's Savings Bank is very concerned about the protection of our seniors. We have distributed a lot of brochures on information on protection as far as your identity. Identity theft is a big issue with us. Last year we did do our first annual shredding event out at
Okay.
the community center, out at the
How
Champaign
much
County
did you
Community
get
Center.
shredded?
We shredded 3,500 pounds of paper, which came to 19 trees. We actually saved 19 trees. Yes, and we did it for the first time just to see. It's a free community shredding event. So if you're sitting on your old financial statements, or if you're sitting on any kind of identification, like papers with social security numbers on it,
Right.
any kind of information like that, and you don't know what to do with it, on May 14th, out at the Champaign County Community Center, it's Saturday morning from 9 to 12, you can bring all your stuff out to us. You can drive right up to the truck. We'll unload it for you. If you're concerned about it, you can stand there and watch it get shredded.
Okay.
We'd be glad to help you, glad to have you there. It's a
Now
great
that's
opportunity.
What?
It's May 14th.
May 14th?
And we actually partnered with the SALT committee last year on this too.
With V.A.L.E?
Yes,
Okay.
well, with the SALT committee.
SALT
SALT
committee.
And they
Okay.
actually, they were there. We had brochures available.
And it's going to be warmer this year.
And it's going to be warmer. Yeah, we did it in April last year. We're going to do it May 14th, Saturday, in the parking lot at the Champaign County Community Center, which is on Route 68, from 9 to 12. And People's Savings Bank staff will be there to help you. We'll unload it for you. We have refreshments. We have all kinds of fun. It's a great day. And Moolah the cow will be there to help you
And
too.
by the way, I got that. I got a flashlight from you.
Oh, you
And it
did?
came- oh yeah, and it clipped to my hat when I went hunting.
Okay. But be sure and look
Came
for
in
the
very
hotspot
handy,
cards.
by the way.
And also, I wanted to mention on there, if I may,
Sure.
Anthony, the donation for this came from the Champaign County Memorial Foundation.
Okay.
They gave us money to help pay for the postage and for 1,000 brochures. We're going to have some more made, and that's been volunteered by the Urbana Police Department.
Great. And now, I've been in meetings, and we've actually already solved a cold case in Clark County.
Clark County.
Was in
with
Clark
that.
County, and we've already gotten a case in, I think it was in Mechanicsburg for Champaign County.
That I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't heard
Not
about
aware.
that one yet.
I think it was.
I
think it was.
know Sheriff Emmons said he had gotten quite a few back.
He gotten quite a few
Yeah.
that they were investigating,
Right.
and I think one of them's out in Mechanicsburg, and they
Right.
could be anywhere in the county. But yeah, this is a great idea, and I always, and I think about my grandparents. We're always afraid of making it seem as if they were the ones who made the
Right.
call.
Right.
And this is a great way to do it.
Yeah. Can't stress
and
enough.
nobody
Don't
will
put
know.
your name on it.
Yeah, don't
we
put
don't
your name
want
on
your
it.
name.
We just need
Right.
some information, and it'll be fully investigated. You know, if there's something there, there's something there. If there isn't, then it will have at least seen the light of day. Now, again, what else does S.A.L.T do?
Well, we've just started the Court Watch program.
The Court Watch program.
That is coming about now, where if you have to go to court.
You have to go to court, and you don't like to go alone, or,
right.
or
well, what it is, the victim witness through the Champaign County Common Pleas Court. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that deal with the victims of crimes, and we've asked them to let us know when they have victims, senior victims, anyone over 60 years old that are victims to a crime, and what they do is send out our brochure, our S.A.L.T brochure, and tell them that these are people that want to help you through this process, because a lot of times they will go to court, and I went with one lady quite a while ago before we got this process going, and she was scared to death because she had to go on this particular day. She wanted to go at the sentencing. Sometimes they don't always have to go, but she wanted to go, and she was scared to death because this gentleman and his family was there. She was taken for thousands of dollars, and we were there, the victim witness and myself, to help make that transition a little easier for her.
As a support system.
As a support system.
Yeah, because a lot of people, we're not that, if you are a good citizen of the United States and you probably haven't seen the inside of a courtroom, it can be a rather, big deal. I mean, it can overwhelm you.
Right.
Especially seniors, only because, they haven't been in the court system. They don't know how it works. It's not Perry Mason, which is what most people's idea. That was what my idea of the court system was until I found out different. I mean, they don't know all the processes, and it's nice to have somebody to come and for lack of a better term, help and hold your hand and be supportive.
And of course, it's up to them. They don't have to have us by their side, but if they so wish, then we're going to be there. And we have several of our committee members that have volunteered to be a court watch person. Mm-hmm. More than one can go to the court. We've already talked to the Common Pleas Court judge, Judge Wilson, and he has no problem with that at all. So that is just getting started. And there's other things on the burner that we're looking at through S.A.L.T. And it all has to do with seniors and law enforcement.
Right.
It's those seniors that we're targeting and everything.
And that would be in our sheriff, Brett.
Sheriff Emmons.
Emmons.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
I know that he has been very involved.
He's written a lot of newspaper articles.
Right.
We're trying to get the word out.
Comes to a lot of the meetings when he can make them.
Yes.
He's a busy guy.
Yes, he is.
But he comes when he can, and I know I've interviewed him on the subject, and it's something that is, I know, very close to him. So
he's done very well with it. Yes.
All right, we're going to take a really quick break. We're going to take a quick break, thank some people, and then we're going to come right back. Stay tuned.
The Urbana Leader is sponsored in part by the Depot Coffee House, a gathering place for locals, a resting place for bicyclists, and a haven for history and railroad buffs. Located 6 blocks west of Monument Square on Miami Street in Urbana, the coffee house can be found in a refurbished 1890s train station on the Simon Kenton Bike Trail. Free Wi-Fi, fresh baked goods, local artwork, and good conversation can be found every day of the week at The Depot.
I'm chipper all the day, happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got.
Americans have always responded to the optimism, the wit and sophistication, and the passion and verve of the standards that make up the American songbook. In this exhibit, curated by essayist and poet David Lehman, and illustrated with colorful posters from Broadway shows and photographs of composers, singers, and the casts of hit musicals and films, we learn about the lives and works of Irving Berlin, George and Ira Gershwin, Harold Arlen, Jerome Kern, and a host of other Jewish songwriters who wove the American songbook deep into the fabric of American culture.
Welcome back to Urbana Leader. I'm Anthony Ehresmann. We're here with Nancy Zirkle with S.A.L.T. and Elaine Blanton with V.A.L.E. And let's talk a little bit about what V.A.L.E. does.
V.A.L.E. stands for, the acronym V.A.L.E. stands for Volunteers for Adult Life Enhancement. This is basically the first adult guardianship program in Champaign County, so we're very proud of that. I would say there's probably 5 or 6 people that have really stuck with it over the last 10 years. It's taken us 10 years to get this program going, but we finally got it up, got a little funding, got a place to live, and we're on our way.
Where are you located?
We're located at the Tri-County Community Action Building, which is 955 North Main Street, and our number there is 652-2246.
Okay. And is S.A.L.T. out of the same building, or do you have?
No, we meet at the library.
You meet at the library
every third Wednesday at 1:30 at the library. And
everybody
is welcome.
Is there a contact number for S.A.L.T?
They have you contact the senior center, the Urbana Champaign County Senior Center.
Okay.
I don't know that number offhand. I think it's on.
Maybe it's on the
probably
card.
might be on here.
Well, while you're looking at that,
I got it. I got it.
And just for disclaimers, I am an executive board member for V.A.L.E. As well as is Elaine. So, and we're very excited about this program. And I think it's going to be a good thing for the entire community, especially our seniors.
Well, the V.A.L.E. is, like I said, the first adult guardianship program. We have guardian ad litems for children, but we've never had an adult guardianship program. I know that Clark County set theirs up approximately 3 years ago, but Union County nor Logan County have one. They haven't got a program going yet. And we found this, we kind of founded this out of necessity because there was a case several years ago when I was working with the Adult Protective Services where a gentleman was injured. He injured himself. He attempted suicide. He was laying in the hospital in Springfield. As an adult protective service worker, I had asked the courts to just give me the permission to sign treatment papers. Well, the judge needed to find a guardian. And because we didn't have any guardians right away, it went on, and basically what the hospital did was just kind of bandage him up a little bit, keep him going until they could get the okay from the courts through a guardian that they could treat him.
Right.
Well, we're talking over a week. This gentleman was laid up. He had slashed his throat, his wrist. I think he stabbed himself somewhere. I'm not sure where, in the side or something. But they got most of that under control. But where he slashed his throat, he had difficulty swallowing and doing things like that.
Right. He needed surgery.
Right. They needed to do surgery and put a G-tube in or something. And they weren't able to do that. And they kept asking me, what do we do? And finally, I said, you need to override the release and just go ahead with your ethics committee and go ahead and get him the surgery. So they got him the surgery. We finally did get a guardian, a person that would be guardian for him, but this was after the fact. You know, right when we needed it. We can do emergency guardianships to where it'll take over right then, especially if there's a situation between life and death.
Right.
So the courts, we can do that, and we can do that through the V.A.L.E. In fact, the very first V.A.L.E. guardianship was an emergency guardianship. It was a gentleman over at a nursing home in Spring Meadows in Woodstock, and they had a gentleman there that was going into surgery. He was put under anesthetic, didn't know what was going on, and they needed someone to speak for him because they had to go in and do further surgery, so they needed someone to be a guardian at that point. So that was an emergency guardianship.
Right. And these aren't, and it's not like we call up John Doe and go, we need a guardian, can you get down to the hospital and be a guardian? It's not like that. These people go, everybody who's a guardian for V.A.L.E. goes through a rather lengthy training program.
Well, we started out our trainings about 1.5 years ago. and they were like we figured 3 to 4 hours. Well, that couldn't cover. I mean, we've got developmental disabilities in there. We have a mental health person talking about mental health issues and how to deal with those people. So we lengthened our training out from 9 to 3, so it's an all-day training. We provide lunch, which is a plus usually, and we offer this one in April and one in October. And this April we're having our next training, April 15th. It'll be at the Community Action Building at 955 North Main, where my office is. And you know, we have several people sign up normally for the trainings. Then we send them a follow-up letter and remind them the training's coming. But if anyone's interested in having the training, then they can call the number there at Tri-County. The thing is, I like to impress onto people that they don't have to be a guardian right now. So many things can happen to cause people to need a guardian. That just means that you are incompetent to make decisions. What can cause you to be incompetent? You can have a stroke, you can have an accident, you know, a heart attack, illness can cause you to be incapacitated to the point where you can't make your own decisions. Guardianships are not permanent. Sometimes a person gets past that point, they become well again. They don't need a guardian. Then that goes back to court, and then the guardianship is annulled by the court.
Now, these aren't for people who, you know, have an immediate family member who is basically speaking for them. These are for people for whom they don't have anybody else to speak for them.
Well, sometimes they have family and other people to speak for them, but the people prefer not to. They're either unwilling or unable. Many times we might have, because we run all of our guardians through the training plus a BCI check. And we have made it a policy to do that every 2 years, just to make sure they're on the up and up. Now, some family members, I've got one coming through the courts right now from Clark County, that the family member that was guardian got into some trouble, and they do not trust this person, this family member, to be a guardian. So they're asking for a volunteer guardian.
Okay. Now, and like you said, this is not just for elderly people. It could be developmentally disabled, or you know, it could even probably be somebody, you know, I guess people at my age have strokes. You know, I'm 50, so I guess, you know, if I had a stroke,
He's old, isn't he?
I'm actually over 50. But, all right, no.
And we got you, didn't we?
Yeah, you threw me off. So, I mean, it doesn't have to, it's not necessarily for elderly people.
No.
But it is for adult people.
Yes.
All right.
Anyone over the age of 18.
And it is court appointed.
Yes.
All right. And only in certain circumstances when it's like when, you know, we need you right now, it's under an emergency circumstance.
Right.
Somebody cut their throat and need help right then and there.
Right.
Okay. And we also have lawyers that help prepare these cases.
Ron Tompkins has been our attorney for V.A.L.E. He's done very well. He's donated a lot of time. He doesn't want to take the credit for it, but Ron's getting the credit for it.
Yeah.
He's donated a lot of time, and he doesn't have time to be at all the meetings, executive board meetings, but he says he still wants to continue to do that for the V.A.L.E. program. So we appreciate that.
And he is a good man, a good friend.
Yes.
We get him to do our Relay for Life interviews. People just love talking to him. I don't know what it is. You just ask a question and they open up to him. So we always appreciate his involvement in the community. Now, let me ask you a couple of personal questions. What got you to get so involved with the community? What was it about being involved in, you know, not this particular group, but, you know, whatever group? You go
I
first.
just care about people. I don't want to see people taken.
Right.
You know, I don't want to see anybody get ripped off. I guess it's just a general concern for folks.
Because it's people like you who build communities.
We try.
You know, this is what, you know, and especially when you live in a small county in a small city.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we have to look out for each other.
Well, we've
We really
grown up
do. It is
with,
pretty
you
much,
know,
yeah.
a lot of us are family, and I think
do.
it's just evolved into, you know, the job that you did too. You know, you were.
When I worked Adult Protective
Yeah.
Services,
Sure.
that was the
Sure.
job. I guess I've been kind of born into this working with seniors because I was raised by a grandmother, and I worked in nursing homes for many years before I went to school and became a social worker. So, you know, and then when I got to work with Job and Family Services, and I got the job as Adult Protective Services, I said, I'm going to change things. So anyways, I got in there, and I just have a heart for the elderly. I mean, anyone, I have a heart for people, but I particularly have a heart for the elderly population.
And you don't get paid, and you don't get paid.
No.
I get paid
And I
a
don't
little
get
bit.
paid.
I get paid a little bit, not for the SALT involvement, but yeah, to keep the program going, they needed to hire a coordinator. So, yeah, there's no one else that knew the program better than me.
You got to have somebody down there, you know, answering phones and stuff like that.
And pushing the papers.
Pushing
yeah.
the papers. So, and but all, I mean, that is like not even 0.5% of what you do at V.A.L.E. And we appreciate it. As a one board member to another, I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
And V.A.L.E. is a nonprofit, and so is S.A.L.T.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Now, is it known by another name? Is it known by another name? Because often I hear.
Did you hear the triad?
I hear
Yes.
triad.
Probably triad. We don't use that quite so much. I think we want to go with the SALT because that pulls in the seniors and the law enforcement. So we really refer more to ourselves as SALT.
Triad is the national group.
National group, right.
And it's all over the United States.
Right.
But we decided, since we have a triad school,
Right.
that maybe we ought to just go with the SALT Council. So we're the SALT Council, the seniors and law enforcement
Right.
together.
Okay.
So,
Now I'm going to pick on somebody
should I?
because I
now?
can. No. It's not either of you. But I want to ask you a question. I would not even know about S.A.L.T. or V.A.L.E. if it weren't for Dale Thompson. So I blame Dale Thompson for everything.
I do too. He gets me into more
It
things.
gets me into more things. I don't know why I get talking
Yeah.
to this stuff. But I always start out going, no, I don't know if I want to do that. And then I end up doing it, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So thank you very much, Dale. I appreciate it. And he's good.
Yeah.
He's going to love you for this.
I know I'm going to hear it too.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on. Did we find the telephone number?
Yes. If you want to know any more information about S.A.L.T., you can contact the Urbana-Champaign County Senior Center, 653-4022.
Okay.
Tri-County Community Action at 652-2246. You can call me at Peoples. My number is 653-1622. That's my direct line. I'd be glad to give you any information on S.A.L.T.
Absolutely.
Always happy to.
Thank you, and we're going to have to have you on a couple of times a year because you're a great interview, and we're going to have you back now that you're a veteran.
Thank you.
And one more time, the telephone number for V.A.L.E.
V.A.L.E. is 652-2246, and ask for Elaine.
Okay. And now I have to do my little thing. First, I want to, before I get into the closing, we're going to make an offer to all of the candidates who are running in Champaign County. If you want to come on the show and introduce yourself to the voters, please email us, and we will happily get you a segment on our program. So we don't care what party you're in or what you're representing, but if you're running for office, we want to talk to you. And I'm sure everybody in Champaign County wants to meet you. You can always email us at urbanaleader@hotmail.com, and you can visit us on the web at urbanaleader.blogspot.com. We're seen in like 213 cities in the United States, 41 of the states, and 17 countries. So on the web. So visit us on the web. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the program.
day. Happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got.
Americans have always responded to the optimism, the wit and sophistication, and the passion and verve of the standards that make up the American Songbook. In this exhibit, curated by essayist and poet David Lehman, and illustrated with colorful posters from Broadway shows and photographs of composers, singers, and the casts of hit musicals and films, we learn about the lives and works of Irving Berlin, George and Ira Gershwin, Harold Arlen, Jerome Kern, and a host of other Jewish songwriters who wove the American Songbook deep into the fabric of American culture.